Everyone, need your attention, please. I'm gonna burn this place to the ground.
Although action hero Jason Statham and director David Ayer are well known for their work on serious crime films such as Training Day and End of Watch, they recently collaborated on the thrilling revenge thriller The Beekeeper, which has received great reviews from both reviewers and fans. Starring in the ensemble are Jeremy Irons, Minnie Driver, and Gemma Redgrave. Will there be a Beekeeper 2, or must we accept that this action film is a one-off? See what happens. Here's what we know about a sequel. What is The Beekeeper about? Adam Clay is a retired special agent who is part of a team known as the Beekeepers. He uses his connections to track down a company stealing money from hardworking people, including his friend and neighbor Eloise Parker. He will kill everyone who stands in his way as he tracks down the culprit. Will there be a sequel to The Beekeeper? The Beekeeper 2 might happen as Jason Statham's action hero Adam Clay survived the events of the first movie, escaping into the sea after taking down Josh Hutcherson's Derek Danforth. The director of The Beekeeper, David Ayer, also fueled speculation that there might be a sequel by saying that there was room to explore the Beekeeper mythology in the future in an interview with Inverse. David Ayer, the director, talks about The Beekeeper 2's prospects. The protagonist of the latest action movie, played by Jason Statham, is a retired special agent Adam Clay, who was a member of the covert group known as the Beekeeper. But after falling prey to a phishing scam, his close buddy kills herself, so he takes matters into his own hands and exacts revenge. In addition to Statham, The Beekeeper stars Josh Hutcherson, Jeremy Irons, Emmy Raver Lampman, and Bobby Naderi. Ayer discussed the prospects for The Beekeeper 2 with Inverse. According to him, the action film only opened the door a little bit into the world of Beekeeper. The director has some reservations about the movie's lore, which gives so much room to explore even though a sequel has not yet been confirmed. We cracked the door a little bit into the Beekeeper world, and I would love to learn more about them. I'm extremely curious. Where do they come from? Who are they? How do they operate? What happened in the system? Did it break? Did the Beekeepers break? Do we have to fix the Beekeepers? Who fixes the Beekeepers when the Beekeepers need fixing? It's just an amazing mythology. There's so much room to explore. How likely is the Beekeeper 2 to happen? Several members of the cast and crew of the film have already discussed the Beekeeper 2's potential. Statham discussed the great mythology surrounding the R-rated The Beekeeper more than a month before the film's premiere, outlining comparable approaches to add to the folklore. In the event that a sequel is approved, he added, he would be thrilled to create it. Additionally, Statham has experience directing action franchises like The Transporter and The Mechanic. Based on initial assessments, The Beekeeper appears to be an action film with room to grow, possibly even becoming a series. With 99 reviews, it has a 68% critical grade on Rotten Tomatoes. Considering that Statham's previous movie, The Meg 2: The Trench, received a dismal 37% from critics, this is a respectable score for any of his films. The largely positive reviews are particularly advantageous to Ayer, as the director has been facing criticism. This contains Suicide Squad, a 2016 DC Comics film that received a dismal 26% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Furthermore, the conclusion of The Beekeeper leaves room for additional investigation into Adam and the covert group. Adam gets hurt and escapes into the sea after killing Derek Danforth, which is Hutcherson, to complete his mission. This comes after he is saved from arrest by FBI agent Verona Parker, played by Raver Lampman. There is a chance to investigate the enigmatic titular organization's history because the film itself doesn't go into great detail about it. Thus, with Adam still very much alive, a lot of unanswered mysteries, and a desire for a sequel from both Statham and the filmmaker, further films are probably in the works. The Beekeeper 2's prospects, though, will ultimately depend on how well it does at the box office. Let's briefly look into the first part of the movie, The Beekeeper. To be or not to be? That is a question asked to Jason Statham in The Beekeeper, a delighted entry into the thriving genre of action flicks about gunslingers who list a different career on their LinkedIn. The director David Ayer's previous shoot 'em up, The Tax Collector, was woefully short on quips about audits. He and the screenwriter Kurt Wimmer have not made that mistake here. Take a swig of mid every time Statham vows to protect the hive, by which he means society, and you'll have a fine time. Either way, you won't remember a thing about the plot. Statham plays Adam Clay, an honest-to-goodness beekeeper who opens the film jarring honey. Kudos to the customer Kelly Jones for designing a slim-cut quilted beekeeping suit that gives Statham the panache of a fencer. In the first minutes, his landlord, a kindly retiree named Lois, loses her life savings to a network of internet scammers who prey on the older and the naive. This cabal of techno thieves rakes in millions every day and boasts the political connections to use the Delta Force and SEAL Team 6 as bodyguards. There's still no match for a guy who can wipe out a hornet's nest with a stun gun. As a corrupt former CIA head, played by Jeremy Irons, sighs, "If a beekeeper says you're gonna die, you're gonna die." This script's ridiculous rationale, which our hero repeatedly intones like he's hypnotizing us to believe it, is that certain beekeepers have pledged to prevent colony collapse, both Apadia and Homo sapien. Sure, that'll do. No less than a scribe than William Shakespeare claimed that bees teach the act of order to a peopled kingdom. Really, Statham is simply the embodiment of death. There's no hesitation, no heightened escalation, just kill, kill, kill. The fight choreography and editing are bludgeoning, though there's a nifty cut where a goon gets flung over the camera, and the cinematographer Gabriel Beristain flips around to watch the man's body tumble down the stairs. When a marvelous heavy, played by Taylor James, slides on brass knuckles, the sound of a punch was so startling that many of us may have jumped and giggled. Things drag whenever the beekeeper goes through the motions of being sensible. There are endless scenes of panicky phone calls and a go-nowhere moral debate between outsider justice and civilized law featuring Aloysius' daughter, Verona, a heavy-boozing, monomaniacal FBI agent who I suspect was funnier on the page. I'd forego her subplot for more of Ayer's giddy villains, the call center creepazoids Mickey and Rico, their skateboarding tech bro boss Derek, and a rival bee-freak Anisette, who enters screaming and exits far too soon. The Beekeeper is about Statham and Statham alone, plus how many things one can throw at the charismatic action star without him needing to catch his breath. It starts with Statham's ex-government agent actually raising some bees, extracting honey, and decimating hornets in a quiet corner of the countryside, using the barn of a lovely old lonely widow. The two strike a friendship, and hence, when that woman is scammed out of her life savings by a bunch of indiscriminate city slickers, Statham, as in Adam Clay in The Beekeeper, decides to sting back. Asking no questions, for needing no answers, Clay sets about killing people and burning down buildings, working his way right up the hierarchy till he reaches the doors of you-know-who. Hutcherson plays against type as the badass son who should know better now that the mom is in the White House. Jeremy Irons hangs around in a thankless role as an ex-CIA man and is now the security in charge and the keeper of the president's son's secrets. Even Minnie Driver turns up as a blink and miss CIA operative. There is no humor to relieve the violence here, though Statham has proved himself pretty proficient in that department, and there is barely any pause in their relentless fighting. Worse, while Beekeepers is meant to be the name of one of those US Black Ops programs that work under the radar, and Clay is just one among them now retired, he clearly loves his job enough to raise bees and keep dropping inane bee references. Queen Bee, Slave Bee, Queen Slayer, you name it, and you have it. One of those bulky sorts blind to the powers of Clay even threatens him, asking, to be or not to be? That is the bloody question. Let's just say he gets his stinging answer. It is advisable to hold off on getting your hopes up, though, as there is presently no information available about The Beekeeper 2. The possibility of one exists only until The Beekeeper's box office receipts are made public. Naturally, this is all conjecture, and we'll keep you informed if anything changes. Do you think The Beekeeper should have a follow-up? Tell us in the comment section below. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.